So, hi everybody. I'm Bob, W2CYK. I'm the creator of RFinder. Um, uh, do a lot of you guys have? Hopefully, some of you guys have the RFinder app on your phones, your Androids, your iPhones. If you don't, please go into the App Store and on your respective platform and pick it up. And also, the inventor of the RFinder Android radios, and some of you in here have them, which is cool. It's really great to see so many of our users in here tonight. And it's an adventure that started for me at about 4 years old, sitting on my grandfather's knee when he was using this call sign. And he was sending Morse code with his left hand and having me on his right knee. So um, so on a Collins S line, by the way. So that's where I got my start. And then at 7, he had me in his laboratory. He actually had an electronics lab, and he was teaching me about circuits and how to solder properly. And by the time I was 12, I was climbing towers for his friends, and you know, just went on from there. And at 13, he offered, or my grandmother, him and my grandmother, W2EEO. My son has her call sign. Made an announcement that anybody that gets their ham radio, any of the grandchildren that gets their ham radio license by 1980 would be joining them for the Moscow Olympics. So I started high school. They had a ham radio club, and within a few days, I had my novice, and then a few months later, I had my general. That was back in 1976, which means I'm going on 50 years, and I think in about 3 years, I'm up to 50. So, and I know I don't look my age. Thank you very much. But it's been a lot of fun. I've met a lot of hams around the world. Instead of going to the Olympics, I went to college in Israel and spent a couple of semesters there and met some friends there that are hams still today, and that I'm still good friends with to this day. So it's been a nice hobby for me, and has become a nice vocation for me. I get to do my favorite hobby every day, and even like my other favorite thing to do, which is scuba diving, down here on the island of Cozumel, Mexico, where I live. The guy I go diving with on Sundays is X-Ray Fox 3 Pop Alpha Sierra. So it's pretty fun. And I actually just got my reciprocal license from Mexico, but for satellite only. Believe that. But they think first quarter we'll be able to get reciprocal for HF, and I'm excited about that. I'll put a tower up. Anybody wants to come down for the erection crew, come on, just let me know. I'll find a place for you. So anyway, so about 14 years ago, I came up with this crazy idea that really spawned from being in Israel. When I got there, I had an ICOM IC2AT. I was trying to find people to talk to, and I was just sitting there. If anybody remembers, you had thumb wheels on it, and would thumb wheel around and look for squelch tails, and found repeaters and started meeting people, and then finding people on 146.52 that literally are still good friends of mine today. If anybody's ever worked, people from Israel, like for Z6 Tango Tango, and some others there in Israel. I've known them since way back then. So when I was sitting in my dorm at Tel Aviv University in 1980, I realized, how come we don't have a worldwide repeater directory? You guys remember there was a little repeater directory book that we had for the United States and Canada and Mexico, but there was really nothing for the rest of the world. So I was contemplating that in 1980, and then 14 years ago, I had a programmer that didn't have anything to do, and I said to him, figure out how to write an Android app. I'm going to write a design for you for something. And a week later, I had a design, and he had a prototype of something that was kind of sort of what a repeater directory would do, to read data from a server, store data on an app, and being able to look at it, search through it, and have it like geolocate and stuff like that with the GPS positioning. And then we wrote the app, and about a week later, we had a prototype that I put up on Google Play, and we had 60 users within a couple of days. So that was pretty cool. excuse me. And then about 7 years ago, I got a call from the vice president of the Deutsche Amateur Radio Club, which is like the ARRL of Germany. And Tomas DF200, he calls me up and he says, Bob, I am in Singapore and my DMR radio is a brick. You must fix the code plug problem. I was like, okay, what's a code plug? Do your homework, man. You must know what it is and fix it. Okay, I'll fix it. So I started trying to figure out how to generate code plugs automatically from the database. And after, let's see, April, May, June, beginning of July, I was sitting there and I'm like, man, this is like impossible. They're all binary. Some of them are encrypted. And finally, I came up with the, sitting there at my desk, I was like, wait a minute. Why don't I got an app already. Why don't I just wrap an Android radio around the directory? Easy, right? So that's where it all started. And within 8 weeks or so, I had a prototype on something that existed in China and took what they had and rewrote, put our software onto their platform and figured out how to make it all work. And then, that was the H1. Then we came out with the M1, the K1, different models of RFinder devices. The P1, the original 7-inch tablet, the P7, the 7-inch tablet, B1, B1 Plus, and now the M6. I'll show some of that to you today. So it's been a great adventure. It's taken me all over the world and parts of Alabama. And it's been really a great fun, great pleasure meeting hams all over the world. And just being what the FCC licensed us to do, which is to be radio experimenters, not just to be able to pick up a microphone and talk. There's a reason why we learn all this technical stuff, to learn about electricity and electronics and radio waves and antennas and radio wave propagation and stuff like that, satellites and how does all that work, so that we can advance the radio art. So I was had an opportunity finally to use the skills that Grandpa started me out with and actually make something. So and about 3 weeks before Grandpa passed away, I said to him, you invented some stuff, like, how come you never did anything with it? He goes, I never wanted to make my hobby my work. He said, but it was a mistake. If you ever come up with something, don't slow down, turn it into something. So that's what I did. This is all Grandpa's mandate. So, and it's been great fun doing it. So, like I said, we started with the repeater directory, then we wrapped a radio around it. And then we started adding things because we had a very malleable platform. It's an Android. You can write a program to do just about anything imaginable on it. It's got GPS, it's got Bluetooth, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got cellular, it's got cellular data, it's got pretty much everything you need to create whatever you want. So that's what we did. So it's been a lot of fun. So today, I can show you guys the new M6. That's the new M6, and it's like the M1, which was our second foray. So the body is very similar to the original M1. It's I call it a phablet, like a combination phone tablet. This over here is a B1, and the B1 is more like a traditional walkie. Okay, it's got a removable battery, and you can order the B1 Plus. We're going to have the B1 Pluses probably for another 2 years or 3 years or so. So it's very nice, and we've done a lot of cool stuff with it. Like, for instance, early on, I realized when they started coming out with hotspots, well, what if we stuck the hotspot functionality into the device? And it took about over 2 years to get it right. And I threw a lot of money at it. I threw a couple $100,000 to make it work. But it works now, and it's really cool. And now you have a fully self-contained device with cellular internet technology, radio, and has the ability to literally emulate a repeater. So it literally talks to the Brandmeister network, for instance, and lets you talk to other people as if you were talking into a repeater or a hotspot, which I consider a micro repeater. So it's pretty cool stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is share a screen with you guys. We don't have a lot of time, and I've already burned into 15 minutes. So let me just connect this baby up. And by the way, I am connecting over Starlink. If anybody ever wondered if Starlink works, I assure you it works. I live in the island of Cozumel, Mexico. About the fastest internet I can get on fiber is about 30 megabits, and this gives me a couple of hundred. So it's quite nice, works well. So this is the RFinder Android radio, and it looks like an Android cell phone. Why? Because it is an Android cell phone. It's an Android cell phone that has an RF module in it. And this module, the B1, is actually the B1 and above, the B1, M6, B1 Plus, B14, P7, P10. Those are all the RF module that I designed myself. So this is a regular Android. You can install apps on it. As you can see, works like a regular Android. You can install your favorite Android apps on it, but we wrote an interesting app called RFinder. And this app knows where you are on Earth, and without any kind of a code plug, you can just hit a button, this WWRD button at the bottom, and it shows you the repeaters around you. So as you can see, I am in Mexico in Cozumel, and I can see the machines across the way, across the ferry ride, on the other side of the ferry ride in Playa del Carmen, and Cancun, and Smyrna. And if I want to use one of them, all I have to do is touch it and connect. And that's about it. And I forgot to turn the radio module on, so we have to wait for that to boot up because that's its own computer. So there we go. And now we're going to set the parameters, and that's it. And now you can see that the front of the device is programmed for that repeater. And like I said, I never had to program the radio for this. It could be anywhere on Earth. So for instance, I mentioned Tel Aviv before. If I wanted to pick another location, something exotic, Tel Aviv, I can look up my location, or I can go by the GPS, but I'm just overriding. And you'll see when I hit the WWRD, it'll show me the machines around Tel Aviv. Now, what does that mean? That means that no matter where I go on Earth, all I have to do is turn the radio on and it knows what's around me. And literally, it's extremely dynamic. So, for instance, to the point of, I showed up at the big Hamfest in Germany back in June, and I'm inside, so I can't get a GPS position right now, so I'm just going to override. So I can, they brought up a new DMR machine at the Ham Fair on Thursday night, and Friday morning when I turned my radio on, it was the first repeater in the list. And that's how dynamic it is, because things that happen automatically, like DMR machines that come up and they automatically, at least Brandmeister anyway, they automatically document themselves. DMR mark machines document themselves also. We get feeds from Radio ID, we get feeds from Brandmeister every night, and it automatically gets pushed down to the radio, which is kind of cool. I never have to program it. So I can literally take a drive, and my lovely Isabel and I took a drive from Milan down to Pisa in June when we were going to the Hamfest. We walked up to the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I could see the machines all around me, and I started opening up repeaters from the top of Pisa. So it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, it kind of, if you were in the middle of Mongolia, for instance, you're not going to find many machines in the middle of Mongolia, but if you're in the known world, like I've been in Hong Kong, I've been in Macau, I've been in Shenzhen, China, and I'll take the radio out and it'll just work, period. It'll work in Europe. It'll work all over the United States. It works all over South America. It works in Mexico. It works everywhere. And it works great. But let's say you cannot get to a repeater. What do you do now? Well, normally people would whip out their hotspot, fire the thing up, make sure it's connected to a Wi-Fi access point of some sort, and then transmit through that. But on an RFinder, all you got to do is touch the ROIP button, connect up to Brandmeister, and we're literally connected in. Now, right now, we're on the RFinder group. I'm going to switch over to something a little more busy. And we're immediately starting to see traffic coming in from the Brandmeister network. And people are conchunking right now. There's not tremendous traffic, but we are able to translate a DMR ID, obviously, into an alias, and unlimited number of aliases. Like, for instance, right now we're up to 247,429 aliases on this device. And it literally takes 45 seconds to load those. So if I wanted to reload them all or load them from scratch, if I just installed the app, it takes about 45 seconds to a minute. It doesn't take really long at all. That's it. It's that simple. One button push. And the way it works is in the initial setup screen, I just put in my DMR ID. In the DMR over IP settings. Oops. You got to do it when you're not connected. We got to switch back to radio mode. We were in IP mode. This takes a boot of the RF module. But I went into DMR RIPE settings. These are my passwords for DMR over IP. And there is a password for TGIF. We've disabled it temporarily because we're having a problem with it. And we're rewriting TGIF by using the homebrew protocol. We're in the middle of porting homebrew protocol. So that'll be in the radio very soon, and then it'll attach to DMR Plus and to TGIF and some other networks out there that are compatible with homebrew. Down below at the bottom, the list of groups here, the multi-RX is, if I'm in, if anybody, if any of you guys know what promiscuous is on DMR, if I'm in DMR ROIP, and I press this multi-RX button in the lower right-hand corner, see this down here? I now listen to that entire list of groups, and if I get traffic on any one of them, it'll show me who I got the transmission from. And if I hit the switch button, it'll automatically in the lower right here, it'll automatically switch me over to that group. So, for instance, Richard just transmit on a 91. If I hit switch, it now automatically puts the radio into just 91 for both receive and transmit. So very, very easy. And we have sort of a promiscuous mode on DMR over IP without a code plug, without programming it or anything else. It's very, very simple and straightforward to do. What else? We have memories. So you can create pretty much as many memories as you want. We're actually revamping memories right now, and it's really going to be unlimited. But you can see I have lots and lots of zones that I've created locally on the device. And normally you don't have to create a zone for DMR or FM because they're in the list. But let's say you wanted to have a very specific zone for around a small area that just had a few memories in it for that particular area. You can easily create that on the fly on the device without software or on the web version, and I'll get to that in a little while. But if I choose one of these zones, I can then pick any of these frequency, talk group, time slot combinations. So I can literally create a memory with frequency, talk group, time slot, and I can use these on DMR over IP. If I'm on DMR over IP, it'll just take the talk group and flip it to that talk group. So it's pretty straightforward. At the bottom, you can see save memories to the cloud or restore memories for the cloud. So if I want to save my memories up to the cloud, I just hit a button. And if I modify my memories in the cloud, I just have to restore them real quick here. As you can see, it just takes a few moments and they'll get them back. And I'll show you that in a little bit. What else?
You might show them the interface to QRZ and stuff like that, once you got that screen up.
So we do have a pretty nice last heard. So this is actually a log of all the stations that we've heard. And if you hit QRZ, you can see the information about that station, who they are and stuff like that. So pretty straightforward stuff. And if you want to connect to well, in this beta, it's not working. I just got a new beta, and what I wanted to show you isn't quite working, but it's supposed to be a one touch, and it takes us to the group. Now, if I want to, I'm running beta 35. I just literally loaded it before this. We have RFinder on the air. This tells us all the users that are currently using RFinders out there. And if we want to connect to them, like let's say I want to talk to Richard on WX9 USA on 91, all I have to do is press set radio, and it'll automatically set the radio to 91. So it's everything is very interactive and very easy to work with and stuff like that. And the workflow makes sense. It's not like, if you've ever used like an Anytone or MD or something, you got to like click back and forth until you find whatever you want. And the workflow on these things are very, very, very fluid. I think it's a great way of describing it. We have the ability to post ourselves to the network, and I'm actually set to post myself to APRS. So if you guys search for me on APRS, you'll find me right now on the APRS, APRS.fi, because we just posted it. And in here we have settings. You can set your name, whether you're going to post or not, and what your SSID is for APRS. And we actually posted up to APRS. And if you go look there right now, you'll find me. We also have our own version of APRS built in. Which is over here. And if I go to the map, I can actually physically find people. As you can see, I'm off the end of the Yucatan Peninsula in the state of Quintana Roo, Mexico. But here's the people that are operational right now at this time of night, which is like 8:30 at night Central Time. So those are the people that actually opted in. We have many, many more people probably on right now. If but we're only showing the people that have opted in. So what else? You can see at the top what my status has been set to, busy away, right? So people don't try to find me in the middle of something. And if I want to, I can change my status on the fly. And now I'm available. You can see at the top, I'm set to available. And on the map, you'll see that I'm available. And if I went to aprs.fi, you would see me again on the map. As a matter of fact, I can show that to you real quick. Oh, Zoom is not cooperating tonight. There we go. So if we go on to aprs.fi, search for myself, and there you can see that I'm actually in the island of Cozumel. So we do whatever we can to fully integrate with other services that already exist. So what else have I not shown you? Oh, I have memories. I have the ability to do full memories, and I showed you that a minute ago. I could show you on here. This has a little bit of a bigger screen. You know what? I'm going to do it on the computer. Let me just jump over to satellites. And let me get out of DMR ROI, because obviously you can't operate a satellite on DMR over IP. But I met a guy a few years ago, about 4 years ago, just before COVID, that made an as-L rotator in a, that was portable. Company was Portable Rotation. He took his product off the market, but he and I spoke way back then about someday making a Bluetooth, and about a Bluetooth enabled device so that we could control the antenna from the radio. So we finally did it, and I actually don't have it with me right now, so I can't show you the antenna. I can show you a video of it, but I don't have the antenna. But if I go into satellites, this is now the intergalactic repeater directory, because we have the satellites, and I can choose a satellite. And I actually, like I said, I just installed this, so it's got to calculate the orbits, which it's doing right now. That'll take about 40 seconds or so. But we have a fully functional satellite tracking system with a Bluetooth-enabled rotator that lets you control the antenna's swing directly from the radio during the pass. And it's quite robust. It calculates the Doppler shift as the satellite goes by, and adjusts the radio automatically as it does. And like I said, I just literally installed this. I should have gone into here before I came in here. But you know what? I'm going to come back to it, let it finish. Let me stop this. Oh, boy, Zoom is really being friendly with me today. I can't stop my share. Dan, is there a way of doing that, like from the interface? Dan?
You're
Oh.
trying to get muted. I can't stop your share, I don't think.
Hang on, I gotta
stop it as the host.
I can? Oh, I got it to stop. Okay. So anyway, I'll come back to it in a bit and let it finish doing its thing. Like I said, I just literally installed this, so it had to download all the data and do the Keplerian elements and stuff like that. So it's in the middle of doing that. I wanted to jump into Chrome. And let me share this screen here. Oh my God, where's my share button? Oh, here it is. So anyway, so here is, can you guys see this?
Yes.
All right, so this is the cloud, and I talked to you about the memories before. And here's all the zones that you saw before. Okay, so if I wanted to look at the hot chili zone that we were looking at before, here's all the memories in there. I can make modifications, I can add it, I can rename stuff, and then just restore them from the cloud. But I can do some other stuff that's pretty cool. So for instance, let's say I wanted to add a special zone. If any of you have boats and you wanted to use this thing on your boat, you can add the marine frequencies, which I've already done, MERS, GMRS, FRS, the standard off-road frequencies, the frequencies by US Rail, sort of the survivalist group, UTAC, VTAC. So you can literally add any of these zones directly to your radio by using this function. So for instance, there's the GMRS zone, and here is the marine zone, right? And it's literally as easy as that. And then you go back to your radio and restore your memories from cloud, and magically you have your new memories in there. So we still aren't creating a code plug, really. You're just creating memories that are you find useful. In this case, marine frequencies, or if you want to like interact with a GMRS radio, for instance, you can create the zones for that, and then go in and operate them from the radio quite easily. If any of you have ever, sugar, this is not a Windows machine, but if any of you ever wanted to program a radio and come up with data sets to program into a radio, RFinder's been doing this for a long time, like 14 years. So for instance, somebody pick a place on Earth. Pick one. Anybody?
Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. And I'm going to look up the lat long for that. And let's say I want the 2 meter 440 machines that are FM, and click get repeater list. And then magically there's the entire list of repeaters in Boise. And there's the map of them around Boise. That's about 50 miles, and you can mouse over. But we also have this really cool route feature. If anybody has ever heard of this before, we have the ability to run routes. And this works here on the web, and it also works on RT Systems. So if any of you use RT Systems programmers, your one subscription to RFinder lets you look up repeaters in RT. So let's say I want to get somebody give me a route anywhere to anywhere, except for passing from like Panama City, Panama to Medellin.
Boise to Weiser, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho to. Can you give me some? Make it a little bit longer than that. How about LA?
Havre, Montana.
Hannah, Montana. Does that actually exist?
Havre, Havre. Where the hell is Havre? Havre, Montana.
Havre?
Yeah, it'll take you through the Rockies.
All right, that's cool. So this lets me get a route. Okay, so down here I can also bend the route, so I can take specific routes and get the machines for those. So if I say get repeater list, this is now all my repeaters over the route from Boise to Havre. And if I scroll out, you can see that in fact is the route from and to. I might do something weird like San Diego California from New York City. And give me all the 2-meter 440 FMs along the way, within 15 miles of the road, because I'm running an HT, and get a repeater list. Now, this is an extremely complicated query. It's literally like looking at all these things along the way, 15 miles off the road, and you saw it just took about 30 seconds, which is pretty good. But if I scroll out, you'll see that there's all the repeaters along the way. You guys think that's cool? And this works directly inside of RT systems also. So if you install RFinder on your iPhone, you can use that same email and password you stuck into RFinder on your iPhone and go into RT systems and make these queries.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. So let's say I wanted to go through Houston, right? Via Charlotte. We'll get the repeater list, and you'll see that the route will now bend to the south, and then up again to LA. And again, this is a very complicated query. Actually, that used it about a minute, and now it's just taking about 15 seconds. That's kind of cool. So now you can see that our repeaters are now shown along the southern route. Kind of fun. Then you can very easily blast these into a radio and be off on your wild goose chase in your RV or whatever you're doing.
Wow, just wow.
Huh?
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
yeah, and it surprises me how many people don't know that it exists. Like we've been doing that. Like, I think I designed that like 11 years ago or 10 years ago. So we've been doing that for a long time. And it's one of the reasons why ARRL threw out all their repeater software products and took RFinder on as their official repeater directory, as well as many other radio the equivalents of the ARRL, such as the FMRE in Mexico, Radio Amateurs Canada, our Radio Society of Great Britain, pretty much everybody, all the radio societies in Western Europe use RFinder as their official directory. So, and it works anywhere on Earth. So, like, let's say I wanted to go from Helsinki, Finland, to on France. And this time I'm going to go via Normandy. We'll take a repeater list from there. I cannot route from Europe to Israel through Lebanon. It won't let me do it. But it's Google. It's not our software, because we actually have repeaters in Lebanon and Israel, obviously.
For whatever reason you froze there. Just so you know, Bob, you're frozen for whatever reason.
Must be a gap in the Starlink coverage.
Say that.
I think you got knocked off from bandwidth.
Yeah. No telling. Oh, Ben, how you doing? I didn't see you in there. This is international communications the easy way, folks. Bob should be back here shortly. We'll continue. I bought one of these RFinders of his, and it took me the first week to get my arms around it, and probably 2 weeks to understand what I got my arms around. It is full of features, it's crazy well to do. And because it's a cell phone, the Android, I can add DMR and
You guys hear me?
say again. Dave, go ahead and say what you're saying.
I think that was Bob trying to get in. But I think he's still having bandwidth problems.
I don't see Bob coming back in here yet.
Yeah, he's just got a picture up.
Okay.
But now he disappeared again.
You know, the thing I like about my RFinder is it's my only radio. I don't need anything else. And if I want to connect to like D-Star, NXDN, or any of that, I can just fire up DroidStar right on the radio and use that as well. It's been funny because I've talked to a bunch of people on 91, and every time I tell them about my RFinder, someone goes and looks for one. One of the people in the Zoom meeting right now is actually a friend of mine that lives about 6 blocks from me. He saw mine and he went and got one. It was kind of funny.
Yes. I haven't, yeah, Dave's showing his. I haven't put my SIM in for making my a telephone. There's many companies, carriers, so it's a cell phone as well. I haven't done mine yet, but I will.
Where
Yeah,
do you get those at?
Yeah, I've never put a SIM in mine. What I do is I use my regular cell phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot and then tether the RFinder to that using Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If you guys want cellular, Mint Mobile's having deals right now, and it's really cheap. It's like $12 a month, and it works very, very well. I travel the country, and I've used it everywhere I've been.
I've been looking at them and thinking I might go with them. They got some pretty attractive prices, and they got some good coverage.
Yeah, also, if you want T-Mobile, it's very easy. I went to T-Mobile, the guy goes, "What is that?" I said, "Never mind, give me a SIM card." I got the SIM card, I put it in, and then I also put it in my P10, and I walked away as happy as can be ever. And he goes, "Well, how do I identify it?" I said, "It's a tablet." That's it. He didn't even care. And it's working fine. It's been working for 2 years perfectly.
What's
The tablet. If you guys haven't figured, it out, we had a blackout.
Oh, perfect. Welcome to demonstration work.
Yeah, we figured it was a gap in coverage in your Starlink.
Oh, we actually had a real live blackout. I was sitting here and I was in the middle of actually connecting the Zoom back to my cell. I was opening up my cell phone. I was opening up, like Wi-Fi access on my actually on my M6, honestly, and connecting my laptop to the M6 to get me off the island. So here we are.
Welcome back, sir. We've been bad mouthing the heck out of your product.
You know what? I'm just going to sit here for a minute and listen to you guys say terrible things.
No, I know somebody was curious as to whether or not you could. So somebody was curious as to whether or not you could take that list that you were producing on the RFinder site and import it into a zone on the RFinder.
Yeah, it's not really necessary. Anybody that has an RFinder will tell you it's kind of like defeating the purpose. Every once in a while I get somebody that says that, I'm like, why would you do that? You just hit the WWRD button and you're off to the races,
You know when it comes in handy, Bob, is if you want to take it, put it like if you have a FT5 or an 878 and you want to import it into that, it's easier that way. But other than that, just hit that restore memories and pop them in and you're good. Yep.
So it's I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. I think importing them, you can sort of, but importing them is superfluous. It is possible to do, but I showed you guys, hey, you just hit the WWRD button and there it goes, Gene, are you holding up your hand?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry if this is too early to ask questions. But here is the scenario for you.
Yeah.
You're holding up a very nice looking HT slash phone. What if I was to have a data capable Android tablet? And by data capable, I mean you can put a SIM card in it. Do I need, okay, I guess that's it. But what kind of antenna would I need to attach to it, and how to make it look like, or and I should say act like, that phone?
You got a little more than that to add to it.
It actually is, hang on, let me log this thing in. It was logged in, but, you know. Internet. So anyway, I'm connecting right now. Let me just share this screen. I should be able to share it. I don't think I'm sharing anything else, right?
Nope. You turn your camera on, you gotta keep coming. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right, sorry about that.
That's right. So anyway, this is a P10, and the P10 is exactly the same as a B1 or an M6. It literally is a tablet that has the same motherboard, by the way, as a B1, has the same RF module that I designed as a B1, so it does the same stuff in terms of radio. So if I open up RFinder, you can see the list of repeaters, although I'm apparently overriding myself right now for Germany. That's better. So now we can see the repeaters for Germany. So this is the same thing as a B1, except in a tablet form. So I actually use another tablet, which is the 7-inch. And I can show you also. I do have one here. And I mounted inside my my car to the right, and it lets me not only use it as a radio, but I can play YouTube videos on it and listen to the audio of YouTube on it, and Bluetooth through the stereo or whatever. So I know that some of you guys do that with the RFinders, use streaming audio on those and feed them into your car stereo. So I do that also. It's fun.
All right, well, thank you. I have to delve into that a little bit more for research.
And then P10 also happens to have an RTL SDR in it. So this is RF analyzer. It might be a little laggy for you guys. It's very real time. It's very smooth. I don't know. Are the waveforms smooth for you guys or laggy?
It's a little laggy on our end, my end.
Like tune around on it, and like for instance, use wideband. I'm tuning around on it. And, you can hear that, but I'm receiving one of the local FM stations right there. So use it as a receiver. I use it actually when I'm messing around with satellites to use it as a full, for a second receiver, so I can hear what's coming out of the satellite, which is kind of fun. So, but it does the same thing. Gene, is this what you were questioning me about?
Gene, you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Yes, something similar to that. I'm just talking about like a base, Android tablet, just let's say bought from one of them big box stores. And how can I convert this into an RFinder similar to, just like your phone there, but on steroids?
Simple. You order up a P10 or a P7. So
Standard one from a store won't work. So it doesn't have the RF port, doesn't have any of the vocoder stuff.
Okay, so basically, from a software and or hardware perspective, it would be a no-go?
well, it just wouldn't give you the stop sharing. There's something about this session that doesn't let me stop shares. Right. You wanted to have the full features and full functions and have like DMR over IP and RF and stuff like that. Like this one takes two antennas, the P10. This is the P7. I run one of these in my OJ Bronco, mounted on a stalk next to me. And the microphone for this one is extremely loud. It's amplified with its own volume knob. It's really loud. Like my OJ Bronco has a 4-cylinder Cummins engine in it. It sounds like a street tractor. And
Okay, what is the brand name for that P10 that you just held up? Is it like a company that makes that, or is P10 the name of it?
no, it's an RFinder.
As a tablet.
Yeah, it's an RFinder tablet.
Okay. I see now.
I think we have a misunderstanding here in the fact he has taken a tablet and made it into what he's selling here, what he's talking about, the RFinder, and he's done it with hardware and software. You can't just go down and buy a tablet and have what he has. You have to buy a RFinder to actually have what he has.
What would you want?
Okay, I got it. Sorry, guys.
What would you want to? Because I think you guys must know that, I put quite a bit of money into research and development to create these things and to produce them and, get them into the world and support them and stuff like that. So, we work pretty hard at it. And we think that, what we've created is pretty interesting and unique. And anybody ever see anybody else produce a device like this? No, there is nothing. So there's nothing even close. Like if you take a look at the Motorola Ion, it's an Android radio sort of cell phone, but it's very, very limited in what it can do. And ours is just a full blown Android cell phone that you could do whatever the heck you want, quite frankly, and never needs to be programmed.
Hey, Bob, can I talk on the Ion for a minute?
Yeah.
All right, I have one of those and totally not impressed. To upload and download the software, you have to go through a rigorous Motorola program, and they have it all on their server. And they actually questioned me, like, why is your list so long? Why is your CPS code plug so big? And I don't think it's any of their business. It's a lot of ham stuff in it. And it's very, very slow to program. It's absolutely horrible to program. The software is disgusting. It's online, and it's really not worth it. So that's going up on the market to be gone. I'm getting rid of that one. And like I say, I have a B1 and I have a P10 and an M6 on the way. So you know what? They're great. And 1, 2, 3, you load it up and it's perfect.
Oh yeah, and you
can software or anything else, and it just works. It works well.
Thank you. And as you know, you can just take, Larry, that you can just take the same email and password that you put into one, put it into the other, and it just brings all the settings over.
Absolutely. Saves hours and hours of work.
Yeah. So you bring up another device, like once you've had an RFinder, like let's say you have to wipe it clean. You might be experimenting with it and screw up the operating system like you do on any Android. You might want to factory reset it. Well, when you factory reset it, first of all, Google restores all of its apps and the settings for those apps if you turn that on. And RFinder restores all the settings for RFinder, all the very specific, DMR ID, DMR password, your settings on the filter and stuff like that. So literally takes a few minutes to reset it up. It's very quick. So we have an extensive manual. If you want to see the manual, it's manual.rfinder.net. Any of you can get the manual and take a look at it. And, we've had a great time making this, really great time making this. And, one of the things that I love is like users, like Dan and Larry and some of you other guys in here that have RFinders and Rich, that are that literally have it's almost like religion on it because it's so revolutionary. It's not your grandfather's radio. Let me put it that way. Gene, what's your question? You gotta
Can you hear
unmute.
me? Okay, this question, I'm sorry, isn't so much for you. You might know the answer, but I can see that Finn is on from Norway. And Finn, could you tell me if these are legal to use in Norway or anywhere else in Europe, or if they have special restrictions to them, special licenses?
Yeah, actually, anywhere where we have reciprocal privileges, or if, for instance, UHF is unlicensed, like for instance in Hong Kong and Shenzhen, it's their citizen band, and all the hams have put up repeaters in their citizens band because it's easy to pick up, well, an 878 RFinder or something, and start using repeaters in areas. So I've used this thing in China. I've used it in Hong Kong. I've used it all over Europe. No problem. You don't need, if you have reciprocal privileges, or if the band is public access, you can use it, no problem. It's not a problem.
All right. I was just wondering if,
in fact,
as far as like bringing it into the country and operating it besides reciprocal, if you needed anything else.
No, in fact, I've entered into many countries with this, not two, like dozens of countries around the world, even places like the Congo, right? And the only place I ever had a question was in Galicia, Spain, just because I had 3 different models with me and they were looking at it saying, what in the heck are these? And when I clear customs in Mexico, they're always trying to get you for something in customs. So they're always looking at my stuff, but they know that I come and go regularly, so they don't keep bothering me on the radios. They're looking for cigarettes and stuff like that, so I've just had them ask me, why are you carrying so many and what are they? I'm like, well, 2 of these are cell phones, 1 of these is a prototype radio, and this is a tablet, and so that they don't try to tax me on it, and I give them numbers that don't make sense, but yeah, whatever.
All right, thanks, Bob. I was just curious about the legality of operating them. But like I said to like Finn, if it was okay in Norway or elsewhere in Europe, but I guess you answered that question.
You have reciprocal privileges, pull out any radio that you have. As long as you work within the band limits of that country, you're okay. But like in Mexico, I don't have reciprocal privileges. I only have reciprocal privileges for satellite. So they gave us the ability to get a reciprocal, and I have my license in Mexico is X-ray Foxtrot 3 stroke W2CYK in Mexico. Now, my lovely girlfriend, Isabel, which I think you saw pass behind me a little while ago, she just passed her ticket in Mexico. So soon she will have an X-ray Foxtrot 3 call sign. She's a real nerd, although she won't admit it. She likes to say that she's not a nerd, but I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. But I took her to the Hamfest in Germany, and she wandered around. She knows Italian and Spanish, not so much English, but she met a bunch of cool people, and she came back to the booth and said, I'm getting my license. I was like, great, welcome. So she just passed, and it's going to take a few months, probably 4 or 5 months to get her license. If I don't get my reciprocal before that, then when she has a license, I can run W2CY or her call, whatever it'll be, X-ray Fox 3, whatever, stroke W2CYK on HF. Which I'm really looking forward to. And like I said, we'll put up a tower with a beam when that happens. We're pretty excited about it.
I'd like to jump in here with a quick comment about your operating manual. You can download it, but I strongly recommend that you take it, you get it online and read it from there, because the changes are coming often, and they make the changes to the manual too. And so,
don't print the manual. First of all, you can't search a printed document. You can search a PDF, Can't search it, and it's 84 pages, so don't print it. Waste paper and ink or toner or whatever. It's not a good idea. So yeah, Brian, what's up?
Hi there. Hey, quick question, or a couple of questions actually. First off, what is the difference between a B1 and a B1 Plus?
That's a good question. The B1 Plus has a USB port that can be charged using a Quick Charge 3.0. So if any of you don't know what a Quick Charge 3.0, there's a variety of chargers. We have one called the RFinder. Can we see it? The RFinder DC1. You can get these on rfinder.net, or you can get them at Gigaparts or HRO. And it's a multi-port USB hub, but one of the ports is Quick Charge. So I charge the device, or can charge it, off of a USB port. So that's kind of cool. And we also have the RFinder Quick Charge 3.0 cigarette lighter adapter. The B1s, all the B1s come with a drop-in, so you can charge it on the drop-in. And the B1 Pluses have a slightly faster processor, 2.3 gigahertz instead of 2. They're all octa-cores, so you really don't feel the difference. All the new devices come out with 6 gigs, 128, 6 gigs of RAM and 128 of ROM. So you don't really need to put an SD card in. It's got more than enough memory in it. If you do use an SD card, use it as portable storage, not as internal storage. We do all the updating online, so you never have to attach a cable to it unless something really screws up on it to reformat it and and put a new operating system on it. All the operating system upgrades happen online over the air. The app updates come online over the air. That all happens automatically. Those of you that are users know that we put out updates quite a bit. Why? Because we're radio experimenters and we're always coming up with crazy ideas, and our users are all on the design team. So they throw ideas at us all the time. And we just add them. Okay, that sounds good. Maybe it doesn't sound good. Sometimes they ask for something wacky or something that's not technically feasible. Like, can you make it transmit on HF? Well, no, but you can control radios. But a lot of the features that we have in it were suggested by our users. So everybody's on the design team, and it's a lot of fun. And I have I have my zoom.rfinder.net is open every day. Pretty much every day. So you can pop in and say hi and ask questions, or share your screen on your RFinder. You see me sharing screens on the RFinder on Zoom. That's how we support it. You guys pop in and share your screen. Yeah, Rich, what's up?
Hey, buddy, you forgot to tell them also that it has a newer version of Android on the B1 Plus over the B1.
B1 Plus has a slightly newer version, but it doesn't really matter because we have radios that go all the way back to Android 5.1.1. And I met one of our users in Germany last summer that was still using an H1 on Android 5.1.1 and was using it as his cell phone, and the thing was absolutely beat to crap. But it still worked. Still liked it. But he upgraded to a B1 Plus. So, yeah.
Will you congratulate Isabel for me for on her ticket? Tell her we said congrats.
I will. Everybody say, congrats, Isabel. 1, 2, 3.
Congrats, Isabel.
Nice. So she's kind of shy on the camera, so she hates coming into these things. But
this is what you call opposite attract if she's shy, because you're not.
What do you mean? I'm very shy.
Hey, Bob, tell her we're in Gringolania and she'll come out.
Bob, is it 5G, or do you have any models that are going to come out that support 5G?
Well, it's a good question. We're not going to have a 5G for a couple of years. it's not really necessary, honestly. 5G, I mean, if you watch YouTube, right? If you watch it on 3G, you're getting full motion video, right? If you watch it on 4G, you're getting full motion video. If you're on 5G, you're getting full motion video. It doesn't really matter. So, and for us, the amount of data that we use is really, it's kind of a needle in a stack of needles. It's not a lot of, not tremendous amounts of data. Even if you left your DMR over IP running 24 hours a day for a month, you're not going to use that much bandwidth, or at least data. Bandwidth is a different story. But we don't need 5G. It doesn't add any value to the device. 5G is going to be around for a long time. 3G was around for a very long time. They just, got rid of it in most places. 4G is not going away, anytime soon. And by then, well, you're going to want to get an upgrade anyway. So, no, not right now. Maybe in a couple of years. We sort of have a prototype, but I didn't like it, so we went back to the drawing board.
All right, thanks.
I got a question for you, Bob.
If I don't know the answer, I'll make up something reasonable.
All right, you made a comment that TGIF, you're doing something homebrew. Is that going to work Brandmeister as well, or is that going to be a separate thing?
No, we'll put all the servers in. You'll be able to attach with, but I don't know if homebrew is going to be any better. I was playing with a prototype yesterday, and I wasn't that thrilled about it. Quite frankly, I have. If any guys have ever seen one of these, the hot chili pepper.
Yep,
this is something we produced a while back. It was a pocket hotspot with its own battery in it and stuff. It really was the only MMDVM that had a battery in it, and on MMDVM, I'm sorry, on Homebrew, I'm not doing that great from Mexico, any better than DMR over IP. Okay. DMR over IP was better, actually, when I was testing it. So, but your mileage may vary on any specific day or what your service provider that you're using or whatever. But it's nice to have the option, right?
That's what I'm asking. I know you had talked about doing homebrew for TGIF. Would that be available for Brandmeister as well, or any other private network? Somebody else.
We're going to put the entire list in. We'll let you put in private servers in too. So it's all about experimentation. So we're always coming up with new ideas and experimenting with it and turning it into something, and it's fun. I mean, we had a prototype of M17 running a while back. We stopped because we were busy with the rotator. So we want to get the rotator working, and then we got busy with some other stuff, and we wanted to really finish that up. And I really want to get homebrew working. That's really more of a priority for me, since there really aren't any repeaters yet for M17. So it's not like, oh my God, we got to get M17 running tomorrow. But we have a prototype of M17 where we were actually transmitting M17 out the radio. So a production radio transmitting M17. So, yeah, somebody was raising. Who raised? No, that's the. So, so we're, just like I said, it's all about experimentation and having a lot of fun doing this. And, somebody said a while back, buy an RFinder today, get a new radio every month. Right, Dave Crum? Right? Right.
Yeah, there's been 4 or 5 updates just in the last week.
Oh yeah. Tell me about it. Somebody looked at that thing.
Yeah, and they're actually substantial updates, coming out with actually new features and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Joe's having a lot of fun, programming, and we bounce ideas off of each other every day, and so
I know Curtis, one of the issues I was hung up on was the microphone wasn't working all the time. Your audio, I had to actually go into the settings and change it every time you boot it up. I think
we fixed that.
It's fixed.
Yeah, we fixed. Yep. Yeah, we made it so that because on our microphones, it's just like a GP328 plus pogo port.
Mhm.
right? But we took pin 13 and tied it to ground, and then made the operating system recognize the fact that it was grounded, and by doing that, we were able to detect that there was a mic attached, and we made all the setting changes.
Yep.
For, so you saw that happen. So, like I said, it's all about experimentation. When you get ideas and you throw it together, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe we need to make it a little bit of an adjustment to that, make it a little bit better or a lot better. So that was a perfect example.
Richard, you got your hand up.
Hey Bob, so when you guys plan on putting out the dual watch on the update? Any ideas?
He and I were talking about that the other day, and then I saw a prototype of it. And you're probably going to see it in a week or so.
Okay. Any ideas for RTL SDR for like the M6 or any of the new radios that you may end up coming out, or is it just strictly going to be for the P10?
Well, it's the P10. I mean, there's some tricks that you can do. Like, for instance, there is inside the M6 a what's it called? A mini PCIe port. So you could technically get a Bluetooth adapter for mini PCIe and stick a USB dongle inside. You can get it to fit, maybe. Sort of. I don't know. Maybe you could plug it into the USB port on the side. That would work, and turn on OTG. That would work.
And then my last question is I heard that a bunch of the New York, like up in the Adirondacks, are their emergency comm guys are now installing a bunch of DMR radio or DMR repeaters up there, and they're using RFinders. Any word on how that's going with them? I've heard like 4 or 5 people already have them out there so far.
Yeah, they didn't ask me, but I was very honored that I heard about it, and I was very honored that they did that. Finally, I mean, it's amazing. Everybody here put their hands up that has never seen this or even heard of it. There's like a lot of people that have never heard of the RFinder or never seen one, or they're not really sure what it is. They just think it's like a overly priced HT. It's really like a cell phone, and we throw in a DMR radio, that doesn't need to be programmed. We were very, when I found out about that the other day, I was very honored to hear about it. So it's pretty cool. I've heard of some search and rescue teams in California grabbed them too.
Well, my buddy's one of the county comm guys there in New York, in his county, and he saw mine and he bought one, and then he started pushing them. And so now what they're saying is a bunch of the cops are going to have to get their ham licenses, because they're going to make it across the board for first responders as backup communication. They're all getting RFinders, is what he said.
Well, that's really cool.
It is. Well, we're about 15 minutes after the hour. I do not want to cut it off, but
which means I'm like a half hour over.
You're just fine. You're just fine. When we have a good presentation, we have no problems going over.
Well, I appreciate that. Hang on. So anyway, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys being so patient with me. I know that I tend to be long-winded. Truth is, I can sit here and talk for hours about this stuff and about radio in general. It's been a fun hobby for me, and I know you guys enjoy it and stuff. So, Rich, have a great night. Appreciate you popping in. So Richard was just popping out. So, I'm not done working. Like, I start my day at 5:30 in the morning, and I wander out about 6:15. Like, I start working. I deal with Shine, and then I wander out for about a half hour and go to the gym and come back. And I'm usually working here until 9 in the morning, 9:30 really. I go pray, and then I come back, and I work and get on Zoom with everybody, and then have some dinner, usually at my desk, And then I'm on with China again at 9 o'clock at night, dealing with our vendors in China, or engineers and stuff. So we work long hours at this. So it's a labor of love. It's long hours and fun, and we really enjoy it. Thank you, Evelyn Conway. Thank you very much. So that's the story. And I'm in zoom.rfinder.net every day. Okay. And so if you guys ever want to come in and say hi or ask questions, or get a coupon code to buy a radio or something, I'm in there. So if you guys go in there right now, Halloween 23 on rfinder.net gets you 10%. That's my cheese. That's my cheese of the night.
They said it didn't work earlier today. There was a few people complaining about it on the Facebook page that it wasn't working.
Really? Okay. Maybe they were spelling it wrong.
The ad that went out said it was good until October 5th.
Hold on. No, it's active. HOLLOWEN 23. And it shows active to me for everything. So
What was it called again?
rfinder.net, RFINDER.net. And the website
Net.
and the website is, the coupon code is Halloween 23. So that's my cheesy advertisement for the night.
Just for
So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you pull out your iPhones and your Androids, install RFinder on it, and subscribe to RFinder. Helps us keep the lights on. I did this all without any seed funding. I did this with the research and development. We did it all on the money we made off the directory, which is pretty cool. That was fun. Fun times. It's fun. It's a great adventure. So, thanks, Bill. Hey, Bill, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a dog's age. So, any other questions? Glad to answer any question you want. If anybody wants to come scuba diving, we got some of the best diving on earth down here in Cozumel, and it's a lovely place to come and have a mojito. So if you happen to pull in on one of those cruise ships, let me know early, and I'll come pick you up, and we'll go for a nice ride. We'll get a mojito. So.
Okay, you got a couple hands up here. Richard, go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I have a question. I just seen a icon pop up on my screen that I've never seen. It said APRS in a circle when someone keyed up, and when I clicked it, it brought me up to the APRS. Is that something new on 35?
Well, you probably just learned something new that I don't even know about yet.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, and it just popped up. It was weird. It said it right next to the mileage, and then down in the right-hand corner.
Oh, yeah. He put that in. So when people come in to the RFinder network, or to the RFinder on the air, that it lets you know that somebody just showed up and where they came in from.
Okay.
Hey,
Rich
A9X.
Richard.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Richard. I'm a buddy of Richard WX9 USA, and he got me into the RFinders, and we were working together early on, earlier this year. I mean, and with the Android software, I'm wondering if there's any possibility you might go with a Windows based tablet in the future, because there's some software that takes advantage of the RTL SDR that gives you the capability of doing P25 trunked digital systems, and in addition to like the D-Star and Fusion.
This is like one of my prototypes. I was toying with that, but trying to make it work as a radio, it's so wacky. and the battery life on those Windows tablets are terrible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Not okay, terrible. So we've tried to. So I don't think it's going to end up happening, honestly.
okay. Okay, well, yeah, I'm really enjoying your B1 Plus, and look forward to testing out some of your other offerings. So, thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Actually, your B1 Plus, because I do this for all of you guys.
Austin, come on, you got your hand up.
Hi, yeah. Hey, Bob. This is great. This is Austin, Kilo Alpha 3 Tango 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 in Philadelphia. And I wanted to say the thing I'm excited about, got my RFinder here, is a friend and I sideloaded the Google Accessibility Suite. And so now it talks. And I was told that that's going to be included now in the ROM. So that's really exciting because that can help the blind as well. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
excited about that.
we've tried to get it incorporated, and it seems like it's just not going to happen. What we do is, when
Oh.
it comes to us, we install it for them and then ship it out.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, either way, it works. So that's exciting because the more stuff that's accessible to the blind, the better. So very good.
Are you're blind apparently?
Yeah.
So is it nice to have a radio that you can like fully operate like with your fingers?
Yeah, it's a whole different experience. Yeah.
It's cool. We actually did that early on. If anybody of you guys ever heard of the Unseen Bean, Jerry in Colorado, he's a ham. I forget his call sign. WB0 something or other. Anyway, Jerry, I had met him at Dayton, and he was like, I would love to have a repeater directory that I could use with TalkBack. So we put TalkBack on his device and started playing with it, and we realized we had to tweak it a little bit. We tweaked it, the app, so that so that all the prompts were labeled and you know what I mean. So everything was labeled properly.
Yep.
And so we've made it a concerted effort to make sure that all of our software works for unsighted individuals.
Yeah, real cool. Thanks.
Or colorblind people like myself.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate your support, Austin. Anybody else?
Doing a good job here.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you guys are having such a nice time. I tend to go long-winded on these things. Whenever somebody says 45 minutes, I'm like,
Like I said, when they're good, we keep them.
So, did you have a question?
Say again.
Hey, Bob.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
Well, good. I told you to get me on Zoom. Let's get you straightened out. Bill's got a little problem we got to help him with. So,
But hey, you're looking more lovable. Give your
I am.
girlfriend a hug for me. She's doing wonders with you.
He is. How do you? Look, she hates my hair.
Yeah.
My business up front and Fiesta in the back.
Oh, yeah.
She's not
Of
too
course, I
keen.
never had hair, so I won't worry about that.
You know what? A lot of my friends down here are very short on hair, and they're all jealous. They were like coming up, like, "Is it real? Is it real?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's real. What are you doing?"
Shalom.
Shalom to you, my friend. Shalom to you. So I'll be in Zoom most of the day tomorrow.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Well, I think that unless there's some more questions, we'll just keep going. There's more questions out there.
Well, if they come up, they come up. I do have other people waiting for me, which I've told them that we're still going, so they're fine.
I don't see any more hands up.
Yeah. Robert, what's the advantage of that new 6?
It's Roberto.
Oh, yeah, Roberto. I'm sorry, Mr. Montevanti.
It's got a much bigger screen. It's got a 6-inch diagonal screen. That's the biggest thing. It's got and it'll have a fingerprint reader on it too.
It's thinner.
It's basically a phablet. That's great.
I call it a phablet. That's exactly what I call it. Phone tablet.
Hmm.
It's a nice unit. I like it. I've been trying to make that unit for 2 years. Finally, I was like, there was actually a glut of these at my manufacturer. They had a glut of these cases, and I was like, yo, let's put my radio inside the case. So we had to actually make a new back and make it a little bit thicker, just a teeny bit thicker to hold the dual band module. Because this was originally made for a mono band, really sort of a mono band, like VHF, and then plus UHF mesh. So it had 2 transceivers in it. I had 2 antennas in it. So I had to modify the top top of the case to take a volume knob, and got rid of one of the antennas. And then we had to change the back case to be able to fit the RF module. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, I have to do stuff like that, for me to design a brand new case from scratch would be about $75,000 to $100,000. So sometimes I got to use something that exists and then say, okay, we're going to take this that's not being sold in the rest of the world generally. It's being sold in China. And let's take that and then put our stuff into it. So that's what we do. Saves a lot of money. And it's fun. The B1, I was actually had my hand in the design of this case when they were designing this one. I was in China for about a week and we were doing that. So, what did Richard share in the meeting? He shared a file. What is the file that he shared? It is, I don't know what it is. Oh, it's a picture.
It shows the APRS down on the bottom right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that must be new in this latest update.
Yeah, well, we're always doing stuff. Honestly, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what Joe did with that. So, but I have a meeting with him in the morning and I'll ask him.
Yeah, because if it was an RFinder one, it would have a little radio down in the right-hand corner. So this was something odd that came through. I was like, wow, what is this?
It is. I'm going to ask him. Let's see. What is the APRS icon that pops up?
I'm going to guess it means it's an RFinder user and they've got their APRS on.
Could be.
Yep, that's what I would think.
When you click it, it shows their location, takes you to the APRS5 map.
Really? All right. Oh,
Yep.
really? Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Tonight, we all learned something.
Yeah, well, like I said, like we're always coming up with something new. And Joe, Joe has a free hand. If he comes up with an idea, he doesn't have to ask. He just throws it in.
It might be Joe because the guy just came up and said his name was Joe, and then said something and then went off. He's on 91.
Oh, he sent you a message?
No, that he keyed up and said his call sign says Joe, and he's the only one showing up with the APRS now.
All right, so he's probably doing something. That's fun. Something we want to do like SMS over DMR, but like not like just a canned message between one person and another. Actually, like a fully threaded messaging function. Like regular SMS or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, but have a DMR. You saw the tabs on the menu, so have a tab for messaging and let you send messages back and forth between users. We think we can do it.
I think you can too. I'm amazed at what you've done already.
It's fun. I'm telling you, buy an RFinder today, get a new radio every month.
Actually, mine's updated about 3 times this week, so I got 3 new radios.
Yep. So
Okay.
that's fun.
I'm going to cut this short unless we got some more questions. I don't want to cut. Anybody got any questions? We don't want to cut you off, but we do need to start wrapping this up a little bit.
Yeah, let's wrap it. I got two people waiting for me to jump into Zoom with me on another project that has nothing to do with radio. It has to do with I do some other stuff. I do some artificial intelligence stuff, and we create like workflow applications for businesses and stuff. So we've always got something going on.
Okay, well, this has been a great presentation. I appreciate you doing it, and we'll get her out there.
Well, thank you very, very much for having us, and for inviting me in. And I'm glad you guys had fun tonight, and we got to show off some cool stuff, and got to see some of the new and some of the beta ugly, and so
The good, bad, and ugly.
Thanks, Bob.
sometimes we get beta ugly, but it becomes either nothing or beta good or good. So it's fine.
It is. It sounds like it. Okay, I want to say 73 is everybody.